Hi, it's Mr.
This
Anderson, and
means
welcome to
after
Biology Essentials video number
3
15.
times.
This is
Oh
on
no!
cell
I
membrane.
once had me
One
over
of my
bloody
favorite
disaster.
demonstrations to do
That,
for people who don't know a lot about biology
however,
is to
we
extract the
find hands
DNA
alone.
from
I
a
have
banana.
however.
It's really simple. If you were to Google it, you could find a quick recipe for taking DNA out
However,
of
we
a
are
banana. The first step,
here.
though, is to
I
add
don't know.
shampoo to it. And
This
that's
is another
confusing to
test.
people.
This,
But if you have an
hey,
understanding
Lucas,
of the
we have to
DNA,
do.
where
There's
it's
no.
found,
How
and
a
then how a
choice?
cell is organized, it
Behind.
shouldn't be that confusing. So the DNA
Behind.
sits here in the
There's a
inside of a
petroleum.
nucleus in a eukaryotic cell.
And
It's surrounded by
behind
a
was
cell
Adam.
membrane. We
The
call
God.
that the
I
nuclear
don't
membrane.
know.
And then the cell itself is surrounded by another cell membrane. Now, if it's a plant cell, it's going to be a cell wall around the outside, but on the inside of a DNA, it's pretty much. You can get through that really quickly.
Yeah,
with
but
just
like bananas.
so if you add
The
soap
bananas,
to that,
of course,
what
a
does
hair.
that do? Well, the
Hair
soap is
is
going to
shimp-
dissolve the membrane. It's going to dissolve the nuclear membrane, and it's going to release the DNA, which can eventually add to alcohol and get it to come out of solution. Now, why is a membrane really easily dissolved by soap? It's because it's made of lipids. It's made up of fat. So it tells you a little bit about the structure.
No, what does it mean? What is that?
What does that mean?
Life together.
Cells only allow certain things in.
Life
and certain
together.
things
I
out,
don't.
and it can regulate what gets in and what gets out.
Is it great? I have heard the greatest.
And it does that using the cell
greatest.
Now, our understanding of cell membrane is what's
This
called the
is
fluid
not
mosaic
interesting.
model,
This-
and I'll talk more specifically about that in just a second.
For
Now,
me,
there are a few things, cholesterol, glycoproteins, and glycolipids that are found within the
You
cell membrane
liking
that
a
are
lot?
important. But the majority of the important things in a cell membrane are the phospholipids. Those are going to be the fats.
liquids was that?
And then the proteins. And
Oh,
so the
have you
phospholipids
here?
are amphipathic.
Now look.
That means they have a part that likes water
Now
and a
look.
part that hates water.
I think.
Or they have dual nature.
Where?
And what
Now
they do is
look.
they allow small and uncharged particles to move through it. And
Where?
proteins are going to be
Now
found
look.
within the
But
membrane. What they
sometimes-
mostly do is regulate transport. What can
1
get
minute
through and
only
what can't.
2.
And they allow
I think
things that
we'll
are
look in the
bigger
place.
and charged to actually.
1978,
And so selective permeability in
1979,
all cells is
in
far from
1988.
cell, and all
This is
living
from
things have cell
1988.
membranes.
There's a
Now,
snake.
not all
Is
living
that
things
the
have
snake?
cell walls.
The snake
That
has
gives
the
them more
liver.
structure.
So
And so I'll
there's
show you a
no
picture of
fixing
a plant
the
cell and a
results
cell
are
wall and that.
disastrous.
Also pictures
They're
of bacterial and fungal cell walls.
Will this
but
one
animals
do?
don't have cell walls.
I need
They just
their
have cell
action.
membrane.
My disaster.
Okay, so
That's
let's start
not
with the
what
parts
we
of
love.
the cell membrane.
Actually.
Again, I said that the
Well,
cell
actually,
membrane
never am.
our
Dazzled?
understanding
Are
of
you
it is
making
that
it
it's
a
a
so
fluid
passionate?
mosaic model.
Yeah,
Let's
I
first start with the
know.
mosaic.
Me
What does
too.
mosaic
What
mean?
the heck,
It's made up of a
Liver?
number of
Over
different
to
things. And
you?
if you look at this, the
It
first
has
time you actually
nothing.
look at a picture of a cell
Mexican.
membrane, you should be blown
I have
away
to
by
live.
how complex it actually
This
is.
is an
It's made up of a
emergency
number of
alert.
different things.
That's
And
not
it's also
good.
fluid. What that means is that all of
Isn't
these
it
things are
right?
moving.
We
And
can-
so these things are called phospholipids. These are those fats.
What? I didn't
And so
know.
they will
This
actually
is great.
migrate. They'll
The
float
public has
around.
me a little
And
bit
so
of
all of these
broadcaster on the
things are in
surface.
flux. If we were to have a movie of
The
it, all
surface.
of these things would be floating, the
The
proteins
school?
would be floating,
Well, don't
everything would
ask
be
me
floating,
over.
and so it would be moving.
This is an
And if it's not
emergency
floating, if
alert
it's not fluid,
system.
then material can't actually get
What the hell is
so
wrong
that's the
with
fluid
you?
mosaic model.
How
It's
come
made
you
up of a
have
bunch
me
of
all
different
over
things, and
asshole?
it also
This is
principally
another
includes
dimensional.
phospholipids.
They never develop school
There's a few
hours.
things on here that I would like to point out.
Hallucination.
Just about phospholipids
God.
and
I'm just upset
And those
one.
would be, let's start with
One
cholesterol.
homework.
Just
If
cholesterol
having the
molecule.
first forever.
Cholesterol molecule, we like to, most people think cholesterol
This
is
is
bad,
a
but it actually
God.
has a huge role inside
What
our,
the? No,
our membranes. What it does, it'll actually connect phospholipids together. And so what that does is it keeps the phospholipids from drifting apart too quickly. And so when you get hot or when the temperature increases, our cell membranes would start to fall apart if it weren't for cholesterol kind of grabbing those phospholipids and holding them together. The other role that cholesterol does, it actually keeps them apart so they can't get too close. So as the cell membrane gets too cold, cholesterol keeps those things apart.
You're
So
stopping
cholesterol
up,
actually
kid.
has a really important role
Alice,
in
you're in one here.
cell
Just
membrane.
see, kid.
Another thing here, we've got a glycoprotein. Glycoprotein is made
What
up
do
of
you
two
mean?
things.
Wow.
Protein, which is going to be
That's
inside the membrane, and then this
That's
glyco means
right.
sugar, so it's going to have these strings of sugars on the
One's from the
outside.
year.
Glycoproteins, probably the most famous one that you're familiar with,
Look at all.
antibodies. Antibodies, which are important in the immune response, are actually formed by glycoprotein. And then another thing would be glycolipids. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh man, what's should go now.
Here it is.
What is
Glycolipid
this
right
place?
here. Glycolipid is going to be
Fat?
fat,
I
but
don't
it's
think
also
so.
have sugars attached to the
You're
outside.
running.
And glycolipids are
the
important
tail.
when we have signaling. So if I have a
What right here?
molecule that's coming in and it's going to attach to this,
I
and
don't
maybe I
getting
want
you.
to take some of that molecule in, they're going
Is
to be
it red? Where are we in here?
attachment, almost like a key and a lock
Is it
between
there?
that molecule and the glycolipid. And so there's a number of different things on a cell membrane. We'll talk more about those later when we talk about cells. But right now,
Is
I'm
it
going to talk about
right here?
phospholipids.
No, I don't know. Isn't it
So
great?
phospholipid
No
lipids are
review.
one of those
It's
major
a network
macromolecules
today.
that
It's a network today.
What's interesting about phospholipids is
with
two
you.
parts to
It's
it.
a network today. That's
Okay,
enough, kids.
phospholipids are
All right, kids,
fats.
that's
And
enough.
so, like
That's
any
actually
fat,
our
most
late
of the
80s
phospholipid
standard.
is
Late
actually made up
2000s.
of carbon and hydrogen.
There's 2010s like
It's
this.
a hydrocarbon.
There's
And so
a late
that's
80s
half of the
standard.
phospholipid. But what makes it different from other lipids is that it
Oh my
has a
goodness!
head
What
that
is your
has a charge
giant
to it.
Okay,
In other words,
we
the
tend
head
to do
has a charge, and
All
that
right,
has a
everybody.
result of
Now
the
let's see her.
phosphate group that it has on the inside. So this is charge,
Clever.
and then there's no
How
charge
we're
on the
mean
inside.
here is you
Or another way to
diamond.
think about that
It
is
is
this
on.
head is going to be polar, and the tail is going to be non-polar.
Into you
So what does that
diamond.
mean? All of the heads
Come
will
on,
line up
try
next to
it.
each other. All the polar parts of the
That means
phospholipids are
every
and so the
single
surface of a cell membrane is going to have a charge, and then on the inside there's going to be no charge.
Yep.
All the tails will
right.
face the inside. Well, things like water, which is polar, is going to be on the outside of the cell and on the inside of the cell. And it's going to be attracted to that membrane, but it's not going to be able to move through the middle. And the reason why is that there's no charge. It's non-polar on the inside. So as a result of phospholipids, we get certain things that can easily come across and certain things that can't. And so let me talk about two things that can easily come across. If it's really, really small as a particle, then you can sometimes just scoot across. And if you have no charge, you can move across as well. You can move through this kind of no zone, no-fly zone here.
over here.
And so an example would be
What?
carbon dioxide
I
and
thought
oxygen.
they were
So
gonna break.
carbon dioxide and oxygen can
What are
freely
you doing?
move back
Really?
and forth.
I don't mean
And
to.
the reason why is that they
Wait.
have no charge, and they're also really small. And so, example, when you breathe in
What? Oh, no.
oxygen,
I'll be right
how does that
over.
oxygen eventually get into the cell itself where you need it for cellular respiration?
I'll be right
It's just
back.
going to move
What
through
are you doing?
diffusion. And it can
There's the
move
door.
easily across that
Okay.
membrane because it's
Good
very
luck.
small. It has no
It's
charge.
and it where's to
Likewise,
go?
when I breathe out, I
Look,
breathe out carbon dioxide.
it's
How
like
does
a
that
little
move? Well,
dog.
it moves easily
That
across the
means here, whopper wilt.
And so, if it were
What
just
you
phospholipids,
do to the cover? Why are the low
you
here?
couldn't move
The
things
interest,
large
right.
proteins.
Here?
And that's where proteins come
What's
in.
it you doing in Latin?
Proteins, there's a number
There
of
is a
different
cutie,
proteins. This would be
and
chain
not really
protein,
cookie
that's
like
all
this.
the way across. We'll sometimes have
Or can you
peripheral
have?
proteins. So proteins come in a
Sir,
bunch of
there
different
has
shapes and
no,
sizes. But what they
no.
essentially do is allow
For
big
me,
things
that
and things
means
that have
they're
charge to
missing.
move across.
Oh,
And so this
gee.
process I'll talk about in the next
Okay,
podcast. It's
what
called
should I do
facilitated
what?
diffusion. But what you can do with a
How would
protein
it-
is you can actually move molecules
Now
across.
you
So right here we're moving
hey,
glucose
what you
across
doing?
sugar.
Oh,
And here we're moving some particles through
what
facilitated
if?
diffusion.
You're a
So these are
helper.
things that
She's
maybe
too
are too
fretful.
large or have a
Go
charge.
and
and
help
can't
it.
move through this.
Yeah, her now.
One thing we used to think about was H2O and how does water move across the membrane? Well, it's small, but it has a charge. It's polar, so it can really move across this middle. And so what scientists
Maybe your
discovered is something
oxygen.
called
No, I
an
don't think
aquaporin,
so.
a protein that
You're
allows water to move through
Hello.
and actually can control the amount
here.
of water that moves through. So actually, water's moving through a tight little bind in this aquaporin. And then we can also use proteins to actually do active transport. So this is the famous sodium-potassium pump. And what it's doing is it's cashing in ATP to move sodium to the outside and then potassium to the inside of the cell.
Oh, well.
And so proteins are
Seems
important
like
because
it's
they
all
allow
over.
big things and things with
What are you
charge to
doing?
actually make it.
You finally had.
So
I
that's a
know.
cell
The one
membrane.
let me look.
Other
Why are you
organisms
doing
are actually
that?
going to have one
How
other
better?
layer outside of
Probably
it.
has
That's
your
called the
fine
cell
doing. I'm not
Now, the
really.
cell wall gives
But what?
an additional
What are you doing? Virgin.
selection of what gets in and
Right
what doesn't.
here.
And it also gives
Man,
the
looks
rigidity.
like you never went
So, for example, in a
Julius.
plant is going to have a
Right.
membrane, that's this yellow
Sure.
portion, but it's going to also
Where
have
are
a
you?
cell wall
Where
around
is she
the
here?
outside. If we actually
Isn't it
look
right?
at what that cell wall
Show
is made
you.
up of, most
Yeah?
of the durable
Can
part
you
of the cell
have
wall is
one?
actually cellular.
Okay.
And that's why it's hard to
I
eat.
hang alone here.
But what that cell wall gives them is structural integrity.
Please?
And so as water flows into a plant,
No, not
if it was a human cell,
please.
it would
There
actually
we go.
explode or lyse
A
the
little
cell.
one.
But as a result of this, cell wall can actually hold that.
Arsenal has me all over the place.
Bacteria have cell
Okay,
walls
that's
as well.
enough.
And so bacteria
Actually, the
have
school
a
has.
cell membrane
You're a
on the
happy
inside,
outer.
but they have a cell wall outside
One
of that. Some
year.
of them will have a capsule.
All over.
But this cell wall gives them protection as
Your
well.
friend?
It's also what we usually attack when we
know.
formulate
Isn't it going to
antibiotics.
24
It's what's
hours?
actually killing the bacteria.
One.
Now,
Go
their
away.
cell wall is made up of a different chemical. It's not cellulose, but
Here?
it serves the same
Of
purpose.
course.
It's something called peptidoglycan.
Put in
Mostly
here.
makes up the
Our next one?
And then this is a fungal cell.
Oh,
So the
wait.
fungus will
Oh my
have
goodness.
fungi have
Devour.
a cell wall as well, but it's
You're
actually made up of
landing.
another chemical
Oh,
called peptide. And so cell wall
You
just
work
adds
all
some
right
protection
here.
that some cells have. But
However,
again, animal
you
cells
want
don't
me
have
alone.
it.
Don't
And so,
let me come out there.
that
I
cell
am a
membranes,
Russian,
that
7
cell
years
wall
old,
selective
and you're
permeability, and I hope
done.
that's helpful.